Yes, folks, who exactly is Billy TK? We know he's a former Greens Party supporter, so alarm bells should already be ringing. No one is asking him any hard questions. Vinny certainly isn't, and why would he? Billy is paying him. I want some real questions answered, like who's funding him? Is he being funded by iwi? And why is he so closely associated with Sir Mark Solomon, the former leader of Ngātahu? Is he funding him? And given the fact that his business interests have focused explicitly on Maori interests as opposed to New Zealanders in general, we must ask this question: is he a separatist? And later I'll play some clips from my previous video to help illustrate that point. But first, I'll start off with this old one.
New Zealand has just endured the greatest disaster to ever hit our shores, more disastrous than any earthquake, than any tsunami or any tornado. We are enduring this Labour government under the communist leadership of the globalist Jacinda Ardern.
Yes, and I couldn't agree more. Anyway, moving on.
If you sort of sit back and you examine the landscape and also the evidence of the chain of players and actors, you'll see that our Prime Minister, she sits right in the heart of the chain of players and actors. She really, really does. She's connected to the Bill and Hillary Clinton Foundation. She's well connected to Bill Gates and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations. She's obviously, 2009, she was the president-elect of the International Youth Socialist Organization, skilled with all the parliamentarians of the Global Initiative, basically, from Tony Blair to Helen Clark, you name it. She's gone right through the training and induction program to where she is today.
Yes, and he's absolutely correct there. But he is basing that on her history right back to 2009 and before. So Billy, the same standard applies to you as well. Your history counts too. So here we have the so-called anti-globalist, anti-UN, anti-Clark standing together at the UN. July 2016, only 4 years ago. From left, musician Billy Tikahika, United Nations Development Program Head and former Prime Minister Helen Clark. At the UN, at the UN, at the UN. This is you, Billy. This is who you are. You are part of it. You are part of the problem. Stop bullshitting people. Anyway, moving on.
Also, just want to point out there that all of you are, I know that just all of you are really beautifully hearted. I really understand that. And it's really important that we stand up as a people to say that we won't be divided,
But Billy, what are you doing right now? You are dividing people yourself.
All these things that are out there online, Black Lives Matter. My narrative and my mantra is all lives matter. All of us matter. And I had a call yesterday from a member of the Chinese community, and the discussion that we had was awesome. And it was at the time that I was getting trolls getting in touch with me saying that I work for the Chinese Communist Party and all this nonsense. And this guy rang me up and he said, Billy, we love New Zealand. The last thing that we want to see New Zealand turn into is a CCP socialist state. So we've got Chinese people here, we've got Taiwanese people here that are very, very frightened for New Zealand, just like we are.
Yeah, how can anyone believe that, Billy, when you only push a Maori separatist agenda?
So now we come to Mr. Billy Tahika. Could you give us, not many Chinese participants here know much about what Maori indigenous property is. Could you introduce yourself together with the indigenous property?
Sure. I'll address you in my language first of all. Kia ora.
Did you hear that? He said my language. He didn't say my native language, for example. He said my language. So in other words, he rejects the English language.
Tātou, nā mihi atu ki a koe, e te rangatira. I'm also very, very proud to claim Sir Mark Solomon, who spoke so very beautifully earlier today, as a colleague and a mentor in my company.
So there's the Mark Solomon connection.
And the role of my second role that I'm here to promote this afternoon, and I'm very, very proud of this, is as King Tuhatia's, His Majesty's Ambassador of International Trade and Relationships. Their role is a very, 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 very serious role, because we believe that the King is able to provide a platform to aggregate the opportunities for the Māori economy.
Yes, the Maori economy, not the New Zealand economy.
To engage in business with the world, and in particular. However, some of the challenges around that for some of our families in the indigenous Māoridom are confronted with being asset rich in terms of our land, but cash flow poor, being unable to develop their land. So part of my role as the King's Ambassador of Trade is to help assist and develop a roadmap so that we can partner with the right type of partner to provide access to capital that will develop and unlock the potential that our lands have. And what that means is, to all of you that are involved in commodities and buying products for China from New Zealand, it means that we can effect long-term robust supply sources with you. For example, if we take forestry, for example. I'll use lamb and beef. If we take lamb and beef, everybody wants New Zealand lamb and New Zealand beef, but the supply is very, very, very competitive. You have to compete and bid to buy our products. So what I advocate is that we partner with those large stakeholders in China to work with our Māori landowners with unused land to develop progeny, to develop strains of beef and lamb with the Māori farmers and landowners, so that we can guarantee you an intergenerational supply.
Yes, everything he does is for Maori. Now, can you imagine what would happen if a European New Zealander set up a business for European New Zealanders only? There would be hell to pay. But you're okay, Billy. You have privilege. Anyway, now for some more Billy hypocrisy.
People genuinely think that the UN agendas 21 and 30, they honestly do think that they're just a dreamt up conspiracy. Just go to the UN.org website, have a look at it.
And there it is. But Billy interprets it as something sinister. So does the Republican National Committee. In 2012, they denounced Agenda 21 as a destructive and insidious scheme to impose a socialist communist redistribution of wealth.
What we see now with ramping up of socialist behaviour, which is the drive in the United Nations program called Agenda 30,
that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's what's been forced upon us. And every law that we are seeing being introduced now is here to be a platform to which this Agenda 30 program can be fully implemented in New Zealand.
So what exactly is Agenda 21 and 30? After the 1992 United Nations Conference in Brazil, 117 countries signed a non-binding statement of intent around 17 goals to protect the environment and combat poverty. Critics like Billy believe it's part of a secret plot to impose a one-world government or a new world order. But the Southern Poverty Law Centre says Agenda 21 is a way to encourage local communities around the world to come up with their own solutions for problems. That it is aspirational, a feel-good set of guidelines that cannot force any country anywhere to do anything at all. Billy doesn't see it that way.
But when you look at these programs, they use really beautiful words like sustainability.
They use beautiful words like sustainability. Now hold that thought, folks. Yeah, now folks, this is from the Samoan Observer. Business and Investment Roadshow opens in Sinilai. (23/5/2019), just 1 year ago. The 4-day Samoa Sustainable Business and Investment Showcase kicked off Thursday. Here's that beautiful word, sustainable, that Billy hates. Yet here he is using it. Here he is pushing Agenda 2030. AA Solar Company brand ambassador and managing director of Indigenous Business Consultants, Billy Tikahika, who has been instrumental and the driving force behind the event. Instrumental and the driving force behind the event. So Billy Tikahika is the driving force behind the Sustainable Business and Investment Showcase, Agenda 2030. He's a fake, folks. Wake up. He's a fake through and through. Anyway, now to Billy, the martyr.
But I stuck my neck out to do this because of the amount of people that were reaching out to me to do so, and I couldn't ignore it. But during this journey, you know, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose my business out of it. I've been told that a couple of applications that we had for the from the PGF fund or the Provincial Growth Fund, and also with the post-crisis economic development package, we had a couple of applications, and I've been told now categorically, good luck, buddy, you ain't going to be getting any of this money because of what I'm saying against the government. And I've got people right now that would testify that they've received calls from the government telling them that, in fact, from the Labour Party. So I'm going to be straight up on the nose on that. I've put my house at risk because I'm not working. I'm doing this. And I almost put my marriage at risk because my wife didn't want me to do this. And thankfully, my wife is 100% behind me now, praise God. But she was basically saying to me, if you do this, you're going to have to move out. And that's what I have on the line and had on the line. And
hey, Billy, no one is feeling sorry for you. This is your choice and your choice alone. Yes, folks, the guy is a dangerous con artist. But on a positive note, I spoke to a prominent New Conservative Party person the other day, and he said they are monitoring the situation, but they really aren't that concerned about Billy at all. And I can see why. He's a fake. Anyway, I've posted relevant links in the description below.